All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about this hidden little glitch in your brain that's secretly running the show. And once we unpack it, we're going to learn how to weaponize it to absolutely destroy procrastination for good.
You totally know this feeling, right? You're trying to relax, maybe watch a movie, hang out with friends, but there's this little voice in the back of your head just nagging you. Hey, that report. You still have to call that client. Don't forget about that email. It's like this constant low-level hum of mental static from everything you haven't finished yet.
Well, in the world of psychology, every single one of those nagging thoughts, that's called an open loop. It's basically a task your brain has started but hasn't finished. And think about it, it's just like having way too many tabs open on your computer. All these open loops are just sitting there, consuming a huge amount of your brain's processing power, what some people call your psychic RAM. And that's exactly why you can feel so completely drained even if you feel like you haven't done a thing.
And this whole thing actually has a name. It's called the Zeigarnik Effect. And it's not just some vague idea. It's a really powerful, well-documented cognitive bias. Your brain is literally, and I mean literally, hardwired to obsess over the things you've started but haven't finished. Meanwhile, all the stuff you've already checked off your list? Phew. Your brain is more than happy to just forget about it.
So the story of how this was discovered is actually kind of cool. It all started back in 1927. A psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik is just sitting in a cafe in Vienna, and she notices something, well, strange. The waiters, they had this incredible, almost photographic memory for all these super complex orders that hadn't been paid for yet. But the second the bill was paid, poof, gone. They couldn't remember a thing. So she takes this idea back to her lab, runs some experiments, and what does she find? She confirms it. People remember tasks they were interrupted on about 90% better than tasks they actually finished. Wild, right? But it took until 2011 for researchers to really figure out the cost of this, and more importantly, the secret to shutting it off.
Okay, so what is actually going on inside your brain here? Well, when a task is unfinished, your brain creates this thing called task-specific tension. Think of it like a little alarm bell. It keeps the task right at the front of your mind, highly accessible, and it's fueled by cortisol, the stress hormone. That's your open loop. But then, the moment you finish the task, that tension just evaporates. It's released. Your mental resources are freed up, and boom, you get that satisfying little hit of dopamine, the reward chemical. Your brain has officially closed the loop.
And look, this isn't just you feeling a little distracted. No. That mental tension from all those open loops, it has a real, measurable cost. I'm talking about a hit to your performance on other tasks, a hit of as much as 35%. That's a huge drop.
Yeah, and this is where you can actually see the damage. In that 2011 study we mentioned by Massacampo and Baumeister, they had people just think about an important task they hadn't finished. And what happened? Their reading comprehension on a totally unrelated text just plummeted. You can see it right here. Those intrusive thoughts, those open loops, were directly sabotaging their ability to focus. They were actively making them worse at the thing they were trying to do in that moment.
So here's the absolute game changer. The same researchers who figured out the problem, they also found the off switch. And this is the secret. You ready? You don't actually have to finish the task to get that sweet, sweet relief. All you have to do is make a specific plan to finish it. See, your brain isn't really demanding completion. What it's really demanding is certainty.
And this right here is the critical difference. A vague idea like, I need to work on that report is totally useless. It does absolutely nothing. In fact, it just keeps that open loop screaming for your attention. But a specific plan, one that spells out the when, the where, and the what, that satisfies your brain's need for closure. It lets your brain go, okay, cool, there's a plan for this, and it shelves the task. The tension is gone, and all that psychic RAM is freed up again.
Okay, so we've established that a plan is your best defense against the noise of these open loops. That's great. But what if we could flip the script? What if we went on offense? What if we could take this exact same mental glitch, this task-specific tension, and actually use it as a weapon against procrastination itself?
And that brings us to the 5-minute rule. It is so simple, but unbelievably powerful. Here's how it works. You pick one task you've been putting off, and you commit to working on it for just 5 minutes. That is it. And here's the most important part. You have to be honest with yourself. You give yourself full permission to stop when that timer rings. Seriously, no tricks, no, just one more minute. 5 minutes, and you can be done.
So why on earth does this work so well? Well, first off, it basically lowers the barrier to entry to nothing. Your brain looks at a huge project and sees a threat, but 5 minutes? That's harmless. Second, and this is the clever part, The moment you start, you have intentionally created an open loop. The Zeigarnik Effect kicks right in, and now that mental tension is working for you, not against you. It creates this little pull to keep going. It also totally bypasses perfectionism, right? You're not committing to a perfect outcome, you're just committing to 5 minutes at a time. And finally, you finish those 5 minutes, you get a little dopamine hit, a little reward, and that makes it so much easier to start again next time.
So here it is, the complete blueprint. You can use this literally right now. It's just 3 simple steps. Step 1, identify your target. Pick one, just one, specific thing you've been avoiding. And be specific. Not clean the kitchen, but wipe down the counters. Step 2, set a timer. Just 5 minutes, no more. Step 3, begin. Just start. That's a whole thing. And remember, you have full permission to stop when that timer goes off. But I'm telling you, you'll be shocked at how often you just keep going.
You know, it all really comes down to a basic law of, well, physics and human nature. An object in motion stays in motion, and we're kind of the same. The hardest part is always just getting started. The 5-minute rule isn't really about finishing anything. It's about creating that first little push, that initial motion. Because once you're moving, momentum usually takes over.
So, I'll leave you with this one last question. I bet a task just popped into your head, didn't it? The one you've been avoiding for days, maybe even weeks. What's stopping you from giving it just 5 minutes? I mean, right now.